As we come to order in service today, we invite you into the sacred space of stillness so that we can begin the act of alignment at home and abroad. If you are at home, if you're with us today, if you're around the world, we invite you in the space today to sit up a little taller, take a little deeper breath. Those of us who are present, go ahead and begin to focus your intention and your mind and your energy on your breathing. As people are coming in, we get the opportunity on third Sunday to smudge those who are in the space. We'll be smudging with holy wood, also known as Palo Santo. That's the scent that you will hear or feel in the air rather and smell. This is a sensory day. This is a sensory day. Put a pin on that. But we invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. Begin to breathe deeply in and out through your nose. And as you find the space of stillness, we pronounce into the atmosphere today that there is cleansing and healing over each and every one gathered in the physical space, that there's cleansing and healing for those who are gathered at home, that there's cleansing and healing for those who will watch this on the replay, that there's cleansing and healing for those who will be affected by the message, by the music, by the fellowship, by the gathering. To those who will be transformed and elevated, who are prepared and ready for transformation and elevation to a higher level of thinking, to a higher level of being, to a higher level of doing. We acknowledge in this presence today of divine source our connection. We acknowledge the gift of protection. And in this space right now, as all eyes are closed, we ask that all heads be bowed, our hearts now be open as we tune in. Tune into the connection of the God of your acceptance and understanding. We don't force you to assign a name in the space. So many energies moving around the world that work to divide us. In this space, we are united. That energy of creation, that energy of divine source, that ever-present creator, the mother energy, the father energy, all of it coming from love. We speak in awareness right now and acknowledgement right now. We speak in love right now. In this moment of love, we lift up the energies of those who are embracing the holy day season. We recognize and acknowledge the struggle of our indigenous brothers and sisters on this continent we call the United States of America. We recognize that there is a great debt owed to the indigenous peoples here, and their spirit survives. It survives through the moments of thanksgiving to thanks-taking, from potlatch and other ceremonies that really set the tone for gratitude. We acknowledge that space today. We proclaim during this holy day season healing for families around the holiday season. We recognize that some of our ancestors are ancestors now. They were in the body with us at this time last year, and we recognize that we have to learn how to do things differently. And as we learn how to do things differently, we find better ways to remember, better ways to be grateful, better ways to recognize that we are slowly stepping into the shoes of those who have gone before us. What great shoes to fill. What great moments of gratitude. Traveling grace to those who move and are going into different spaces this week for the holy day season. We speak comfort for those who are dealing with depression around the holidays. that they recognize that we are never alone, but that the cover of humanity, brother and sisterhood, is the blanket that warms us from the cold of isolation. And so we give thanks. We give thanks for these gathered. We give thanks for those on the way. We give thanks for those on our infinite life stream. We give a special thanks for the Lindsay family who are here in person today. The gift of their family and Brother Terrell, Sister Tashana, the blessing of Taylor and Talia. We speak that their visit affirms their purpose in their hearts. To Brother Sadler, who has made it here as well, we've got great energies from the live stream here in the real physical world. And we speak that his journey will be safe, will be expansive and reflective. For these things, we give thanks today that something may be shared today in the service via word, song, hug, fist bump that will remind us that we are ever in alignment with the good. We speak and know these things to be true. And for those things that we cannot put into words, we simply inhale and exhale the power of gratitude. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. All right, let us prepare for our pouring of libations. As we sit in the space today, we want to recognize the ancestors, those who have gone before. Those whose shoulders we stand upon. We are all standing taller because of a generation that came before. That generation was not always perfect. But I've personally never met a perfect being. And so people did the best they could. And even if they didn't do the best that they could, in our books, their job was to get us here. And so we have another opportunity to do it righteously and rightfully, and to one day live the kind of life that makes it so that when we transition into the space of life after life, people will call our names aloud as well. And so I want you to think about those ancestors that you want to remember right now. And as we prepare to call their names, we pour the water at our altar. The water represents the living into the earth. It represents what happens to these physical bodies once we no longer need these earth suits. I love to tell you, people would say, I hate to tell you this, but I love to tell you this. This thing right here is temporary. And it was designed to be temporary. The reason why is because the most awesome parts of you cannot be contained. And so we don't throw this life away. We don't say, well, we're just here waiting on the by and by. We recognize that because it's temporary, it's special. So these moments that we are here, we got to live them fully, and we got to live them on and in purpose. We do that, somebody's going to stand and pour water for us one day as well. Ashe. All right. Cool water. Freshen this house. Ashe. Cool water, freshen and enlighten and expand our spirits. Ashe. Freshen our collective ancestors from around the world and beyond. Ashe. We give praise to Almighty Mother, Father God, Divine Source, and all creation. Ashe. Grant to us peace and prosperity. Ashe. We pour to the energies of the north, where we find our direction, where we commit every single day to be a yes. Ashe. We pour to the direction of the south, where we have our remembrance of our roots and who we are. Ashe. We pour to the energy of the east, where the sun rises and reminds us that this day is another day that we got a chance. We woke up this morning. I could do a backflip on that one just alone. Ashe. To the energies of the west, recognizing that even when the sun goes down, we're given the light of the moon to guide us so that we can always have a light in the darkness. Ashe. To this ground below us so that we can be rooted, but not rooted so hard that you can't bend. For in life, like the trees, it is better to bend than it is to break. Ashe. And to the skies above us, that wonderful blank landscape that gives us the energy to sit and allow ourselves to wander. And as we might let our minds wander, we see things and then we pull them into manifest reality. What a gift. Ashe. And to the seventh direction, the space where they all intersect, the space of the heart, the grand central station of making great things happen. We pour and acknowledge that direction as well, within, without. Ashe. And now I ask that you call a name, aloud the names of those you want to remember on this day as we pour these next few pours of water. People at home, type the names into the box so that we can have them with us as well. Hayward Carr, Thomas and Gussie Hayes, Catherine Carr, Queen Mother Zulu Ursary, Queen Mother Elba Sewell, Queen Mother Bernice Brunson, Queen Mother Zulu Ursary, Queen Mother Whitney Smith, Tommy Smith, Dylan Carr, Heston Carr, Horace Mary Frazier, all those in the air, all those on the Carr side, the Hayes side, those acknowledge. And for the children in the world, womb and yet unborn, Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. It is done. All right. Good morning, y'all. All right. As people are coming in, we turn to today's meditation. Today's meditation comes to us from the great theologian, scholar, and mystic. Hey, girls. Hey, girls. Hey, girls. Howard Thurman, who reminds us, quote, "The hard thing when you get old is to keep your horizons open. The first part of your life, everything is in front of you, all your potential and your promise. But over the years, you make decisions. You carve yourself into a given shape. Then the challenge is to keep discovering the green growing edge." Take a few deep breaths on that one. I can start right there, Sadler, and just say, keep the green growing edge. Just keep on. That's it's a challenge. But it's a challenge, which is a good thing. We all want that challenge because we're ready for all the spiritual smoke. We'll take it all. And the fire as well. All right, we'll have Sister Kanitha come up and lead us in our statement of infinitude. Ashe, Ashe.
Good morning. Oh, all right. So as I welcome you into the Infinity Fellowship, I remind you of the 4 core principles of our gathering. We call it SNAP. So the S in SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own understanding. The N in SNAP is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action, because we take action on our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, I always say this, the P is for the proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. We are grateful that you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. And this is the foundational practice of true interspirituality. That's a word right there, where all are affirmed in love energy. I invite you all at home and in this space to stand with me and join me in our statement of infinitude. We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. All are truly welcome at Infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen, Amin, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe.
Keep it on. All right. We're still standing. We're going to generate gratitude. This is a day to be excited. Are you excited to be here? You happy to be? You got the movement of your limbs. You got your, you can tell where your fingers are, where your toes are. It's a gift. It's a gift. So we're going to say good morning to everybody. We're going to sing good morning to you. So wherever we are in the gratitude box, share where you're coming from. Share one thing that you're grateful for. And we're going to share that on the screen while we're singing this song. So everybody here, we're going to do the same thing. What we got, Sister Kanita? Kanita, Lady Kanita's mine.
There it is.
And give it some volume because we're going to be rocking this thing. Yes.
A good morning to you.
Let me hear you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we said, gratitude challenge. Find 3 people today. Tell them what your name is. Say good morning and tell them just one thing specifically that you're grateful for. Let's do this.
Good morning to you. Good morning. All right, everybody who is online, make sure that you are typing in what you're grateful for. Hey, I'm grateful that we're here together again on Sunday. Hey, I said on Sunday. Come on and type it in so we can shout out some of those gratitude things, huh? Good morning to you all online. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Da, 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 da. Good morning.
It never is. It never is. It never is enough gratitude. All right, we're going to take that energy into our giving. It's time for our giving today. And listen, for all the folks around the world, it's time for our giving today. We're going to do that at one thing because we're grateful when we give, right? We got what means we receive. Time for our giving today. All right, everybody can hear y'all. We're going to carry that momentum into this space where we recognize the sacred act of giving. We activate our energy. For those of you who have practiced that tithing energy, that offering energy, you recognize and you realize and you see the change that has been made in your life as a result. Giving is not the lottery. You know, it's not playing the lottery. People think, oh, I just get this dollar. I got $10 a day. If I can just put 50 cents on it, I hit that 100, then I'm going to get. It doesn't work like that. But you may have been missed by an 18-wheeler that was on its way to you. Or somebody may have counted you out and you thought you scored a 50 on that test and you got a 95 and it put you over the top. Somebody may have been kind enough to pour into you from a surprise space. You cannot measure where it's coming from, but I do tell you that there is a peace, there is a love, that there's a power in giving. And we give back in this space to the space that pours into us spiritually. So what a joy it is to be able to give back into infinity, but also to continue to receive. It's always great when people come in and they say, oh, one thing I can count on, if I'm down low, if I'm in a bad space, I can show up and y'all gonna be there on Sundays. The coffee's gonna be there, the tea's gonna be there, people gonna be friendly. You know, once we get to know your name, we're gonna remember your name. Whether you're in person or online, we're gonna do that. And those things happen because people partner financially and they loose that fear. And when I say they lose it, L-O-S-E, and they loose it, L-L-O-S-E. They release it and let it go. When you lose something, you drop it. So you drop the fear. When you loose something, that's like in Clash of the Titans, they say, release the Kraken, right? When you loose it, you are putting it into the world with intention. So we put into intention our giving today. And as we prepare to give back, we can give via Cash App. We can give via the basket here in the front, which is our Action and Abundance basket. There are envelopes in the back for that, for those of you who keep track by giving in person. We are approaching the end of the year, so you get your end of the year statements, and that's always a time of celebration when people are able to see the growth in their life in correlation to what they release and loose into the world. You can also give via PayPal, both locally and nationally, with our email address, and we'll put that up in a few moments. So everybody take a deep breath. Find that space of good within your heart. Find that space of reflection and remembrance. Just how awesome it is to be in this moment right now. How awesome it is to give in any space in proportion to what you received and to release that energy and to know that good things are here in the right now. Take a deep breath. Repeat after me. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. Oh, everything is good. I got it. I got it. I got it good. Universe brought me that growl. I don't know, it's something. It's like I started thinking about stuff. I started thinking about this past week. And I started thinking about all those things that we weren't supposed to be able to do that we got in the rearview mirror. Woo! Let's rise to our feet, say together our offertory affirmation. All right. All right, together. Oh, limitless, abundant creator, source of everything I possess. You have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference. And so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken. And so it is. As we sing, everything is good. Let us give at this time. You can also take a chance to once you give, you can also grab some coffee or some tea and sing, everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I got it. I got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yes, it is. I said everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I got it.
everything is good. Yeah, everything. I said everything is good. All around, everything is good. And I got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yes, it is. I said everything is good. Everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Y'all sound so good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on and sing it with me now. Everything is good. Yes, it is. I said everything is good. Everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on and tell yourself everything. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, I've got it so good. I've got it. Yay, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good.
Yay!
Come on and sing.
Oh man, we love it. Good morning again, Infinity. All right, good morning at home, abroad, wherever we may be. This is time for us to welcome our first-time visitors, and we're going to modify that in a second. More on that, but I want to welcome everybody in this space. I go by Rev Jeff. My full name is Jeff Obafemi Carr, and I'm the Chief Spiritual Officer and co-founder of Infinity Fellowship. This is the place where people make that quantum leap from harsh religious doctrine into profound and expansive spirituality and find community. When we start Sundays off with this, that is the ultimate beginning of Self-Care Sunday. You start off with your fellowship space where you get your power together, and then you look out for yourself and you hit the reset button every single week. So to our first-time visitors, if you're a first-time visitor online, go ahead and type that in the box so that we can shower love on you. I'm gonna put the challenge in the space since we have some online infinite life streamers present today physically. More on that in a minute. But as we have, there are also some of the people who shower the most love on the infinite stream. So y'all, if you're streaming, y'all got to make up for the Lensleys today. So y'all got to talk to folk when they're on their streaming. You got to hit the love button. You got to do all that because they are doing that thing in the infinite space, and the hype is real in the present too. But we want you to know that this may be your first physical time at Infinity, but we want you to know that we see the real you. And we see you for who you truly are. So if you're a first physical visitor, first physical time in Infinity, go ahead and stand for us at this time. We're just going to give you a round of applause. Come on, girl. So we're going to let y'all know. Y'all keep standing so I can tell y'all this, and then we're going to join you. But we want you to know that we see you not just as a human being who showed up to have a spiritual experience, but it's the other way around. You're a spirit navigating the human experience like the rest of us. Brother Sadler, where'd you come from, Brother Sadler? Mississippi is in the house. Yes. Tupelo is right near, right? So we know about Mississippi. And from Macon, Georgia, by way earlier, previously, of Phoenix, Arizona, the Lindsay family. Yes, that Lindsay family that we always talk about. Y'all slick famous at Infinity, right? You know, the online people, the infinite streamers, they're like, yeah, the Lindsays are in there. Yeah, they're in there. So we want to say our welcome to you all. So everybody stand up and just turn to some people close to you. We got enough to get in probably 4 or 5 little circles. We wanted to be too big. Yeah, the first half circle, the second half circle, third half circle, and the fourth half circle, yes. See if we can get 4 little circles going on. We can face each other. Yes, that's good. Take a look at somebody. Pass that energy around the world. My stars over here. If you are at home, we invite you to receive this energy. And listen to this energy here that is in the space today. You'll hear it. Know that everybody is speaking to the soul. We are looking in the eyes so that people understand that we're seeing who you are. And we know we know the 5 W's, and this is our welcome. So as you are streaming in, as you are in the space, let's say this with enthusiasm. Take a deep breath. All right. And release and repeat after me. I see you. I see you. But you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You are a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know, if nobody else will, that you are not alone. I'm with you. We are with you. And you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same. So we gonna help each other out. All right? I know the real you, and I see you shining today. I feel you shining today. I know you shining today. So welcome to infinity. Welcome home. I say, oh. Give a couple of high fives as the kids transition to downstairs, online. Scan the QR code so that we can put you in the system and send you a special love gift. It's on your screen right now. Scan the QR code. Everybody in the chat box, say hello. I'm going to read off some moments of gratitude for you in a minute. Let's do it. All right. All right. While we're getting together and everybody's getting some coffee and moving around, it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to say hello to some of the people in the chat box. So Tony's going to pop up some people I can shout out so we can have them. We got Africana Studies, Education and Policy, Safety, Health, and Pure Essential. Blessings to everyone. Blessings back in the space. Good morning, your family from Brother Tony I. Tony I is on the, I was about to say the wheels of steel. I've been, too many parties. It's that, holiday party season started already. I'm at the radio station too. So you never know. Yeah, usually it's DJ Kanitha on the wheels of steel. But Tony's on our stream. Brother Joshua's here. Thankful to have you here today, Joshua, up from Gallatin. And he's running our sound, and so we're excited about that. Cindy Terry says, good morning, family. Good morning, Cindy. And I want to tell you, Cindy, that Cindy brought us a citrus plant that she grew from seed when she came to visit from a couple of months ago. And when I tell you what, that plant is still alive. That is, I'm grateful that the plant is still alive. It is still thriving. It's in there in the lobby. So y'all love on it. Don't touch it. Just send good energy in its direction, because we made a commitment, Cindy, to grow our plants together. And we got an extra special gift that was given to us as well. The Lindsay family brought us a plant. And that feng shui energy in the front is a peace plant. And we're going to speak that in. That's something about these exchanging living things and living energies and plants, because plants comes with seeds. I'm not going to go in on that one, but Sister Felina, wow, Lindsay family in the house. I told y'all local legends. Leanne, Sister Leanne, good morning, Infinity from Belgium. We got Anthony Great coming in. Obafemi Ming, the Kings loves me in Yoruba. Yes, it does. Y'all got, yes. The king or the chief loves me. We were talking about lineage and stuff earlier. More on that later, but yes, indeed. That's the name. Sister Keisha, good morning, family. Grateful, restored, I'm grateful for restored family connections. Come on, Keisha. Tell Alvin we said hey. And snap up on that. Brother Terrell, peace and blessings. How you, look at you, Terrell. You figured out how to pull it off. I thought Terrell was in the lobby getting some coffee. I look on the screen. Peace and blessings to my infinite streamers. Coming at you live from the fellowship. Love y'all. Right. Defying the law of physics, Terrell Lindsay proves that you can be in two places at the same time. And the two he can do it, man. You could do it. Good morning, Cindy from Virginia. Thankful for the warmth of home. It's chilly out this way. Yes, it is here too. So I'm giving thanks right now for the first test of our brand new HVAC system. We got it this summer, and the AC worked, and the heat works too. If it's working too much, let me know. I'll put on the ceiling fan. Does it need a little bit breeze in here? Sister Kanitha got that. Sister Kanitha got that half smile. Huh? When I see her with that half smile, I say, "Yeah, we got it. We can control it. We got it in here." Felina says she's grateful for breath, life, and my children. That's awesome, man. Ashe indeed. Sister Michelle Mayberry coming in, Infinity family. Love y'all. Grateful for peace of mind and friendship. Oh. Sister Leanne says, lots of love from Belgium for everyone. I'm grateful for my wonderful daughter. Oh, yes, the gift of children in the spot. We also have Atlanta, love coming in for you and your family, Pastor Jeff. Oh, thank you, Africana Studies, man. We appreciate that. We feel it. We definitely feel it. We know it and feel it. Okay, well, great. You are in the space here, and everybody is caught up. So we're going to ask Brother Tony to come up and give us our announcements. Y'all give some love for Brother Tony I will literally pass the mic, brother.
That's called DJing and MCing at the same time. All right. Yeah, yeah. That's how we do it. Yeah, yeah. But on that one, chicken. Good morning, Infinity. Good morning. Ooh, I love the energy up in cheer. All right, so in preparation of Standing Ovations, if you are an infinite streamer and you have a manifest achievement that you want to report as a Standing Ovation today, go ahead and type in the chat box for us at this time right now. Not now, but right now. Exactly, yeah. Right, same page. So, a standing ovation is an accomplishment that you have made that we can shout out for you and let us know what good thing you've birthed into the world by typing it in early. And please, I'm going to say it again, do not put it up last minute because I'm not going to read it. I'm going to tell you right now. So please, stop it. All right, so welcome to November, the 11th month of 2020 twins. Now, the year of attainment and our 8th anniversary. The definition of attainment is the action or fact of achieving a goal toward which one has worked. Because this right here is the big payoff. Y'all know with me. The big payoff. Revenge. Woo! Yes. So, every single day, remember to speak aloud our daily mantra for the year, which is? Michael Phelps on that thing. That's how we do it. So, next week is Yoga Sunday, and it will be virtual. So please don't come in. It is virtual. So next week is our Moving Meditation Sunday service, which we call it Yoga Sunday. We are launching a new feature for Yoga Sunday in the short term. We will be fully virtual on fourth Sundays, and there are reasons for this. Number uno. Yoga Sunday has grown in size and scope, and we want to be able to maintain a safe distance with the breathing space necessary for yoga. Numero B, we recognize that the practice of getting your body into alignment with your spirit and mind can be a daunting task, just making sure y'all listening. So for a brief period of time, you'll be able to focus on growing your personal practice from the privacy of your own home. That said, next week, Rev will be leading a power practice, and I say bold letters, power practice, that will work your entire body down to the muscle and bone to the chromosome. Yes, yes, yes. This is a variation of the popular warrior yoga sessions we hosted, I can't speak today. So with pre-COVID, so prepare to work that holiday food off your body as you feed your soul. So dress to sweat. Now, please save the date for the following events, our annual New Year's Eve celebration. The celebration. So, December 31st will mark our annual Atomic Vision Board party, followed by our year-end celebration, spirit gathering, and party down up in cheer. Looking forward to that. Now, if you attend our annual New Year's Eve gathering, you will know there is nothing like it, and I truly can say for all the years I've been here, it is absolutely nothing like it. I'm still here to this day. To this day. From the fire ritual to visioning and more, this year promises to be a fulfilling family evening. We'll have activities for all within the safety of the Infinity Center. And lastly, we have the Infinity's Women's Sleepover. For the ladies, it's ladies' night, and it feels all right. And it's ladies' night, what a night. So yes, it is the Ultimate Women's Circle. The Infinity Women is a woman of power, intelligence, grace, style, commitment, growth, and empowerment. That should be on a t-shirt. So, Lady Kanitha, as she has for the last 8 years, was reminding you to make your plans to travel from near and far for this powerful celebration of sisterhood that will renew and restore you, even as you are given practical tools for living, loving, and just being. So go ahead and hold your Friday night for January 13th. I say again, Friday night, January 13th, 2023, not 2024, not 2022, 2023, for the annual Infinity Women's Sleepover event. More details to come. And now I'm going to ask leading Lady Kanitha Carr and Brother Rev Jeff to come back up on the microphone because it's time for, drum roll please, Standing Ovations. Booyah. Thank you.
Tune your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Yes. If you have a standing ovation, of course,
Yes.
put it in, bring it up, put it in the red jar, or Sister Denise will grab it from your hand if you're writing it out so we can share that with the world.
Yes.
All right, Mama, what we got?
Okay, so our high energy, and it comes from our practice of snap. It's why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys. That's spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing, and we take what we learn and apply it in our lives, and that is the action. So if we do these, then every week we should see examples of progress in our lives, and that's the proof.
Yes.
So let us pause to enjoy a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. So when your name is called, please stand as I read aloud your manifestation. When I finish each person's ovations, we will all snap our fingers, okay? And then at the very end, you know it's the best part, we're gonna give a standing collective ovation. All right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
ready?
I got enough for that. All right, let's
Yeah,
go.
There's about two of them on there.
I got it on order, though. I got a tambourine on order.
Oh,
Don't
good.
lie.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to ride that one till the wheels fall off, though. I'm gonna
I am too. Okay. The
I'm pleased to
Lindsley-
tear up stuff in celebration of great things that are happening for people.
Yes.
I tear it up, man. I'm glad. Oh, man. All right.
Okay.
So we have first.
The Lindsley family.
Stand on up.
Okay, they said we made the drive from Georgia to be here in person at IF. This is a special day, and to my infinite streamers, Rev and Sister Kanitha are who they say they are. Oh, hashtag, won't he do it? Yes,
Yeah.
he will. Yes, excited to be in this space. Oh,
We love y'all.
I
We
know,
love
because that
y'all.
could have been something else. So we were talking about
were
that.
talking about it yesterday
If
when
they
we
made that
met.
drive and came in and like, these people are crazy. They're crazy.
They are not who they
Leave.
say they
Run.
are.
Start the car. They're crazy. They're crazy.
Right, there it is. All right, thank you.
Okay. Sister Alicia.
Stand on up.
Woo-hoo-hoo. She says, I have 2 Christmas movies airing this week. Oh my gosh! And get this, y'all, one on Amazon Prime and one on Lifetime. Oh yeah, names.
Yes, we need the names of the movies. The Christmas Challenge on Amazon Prime. Yes.
Oh yes. Oh, when the cut and the edit.
Stepping into the holidays. Yes.
You're gonna be there. You're gonna be in there. How they edit it. I know. That's
Sister Lisa has not
it's that
one.
process. I know.
Not one, but 2 movies.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, but if you looking on TV y'all late at night or early, y'all watching at home, and y'all say, wait a minute, I know her. Is that, it can't be. It is. You do know her.
Yes,
That is where you see it from.
baby.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't worry, I've been on the cutting room floor. I thought I was in something. I watched the whole thing. I was
I
like,
know.
where?
Waiting. Now I know I had a long part.
And
They
I was like,
chopped
I see.
the
I
whole
think
thing out.
that was my hand going out of the frame where they cut it.
Did they chop my entire part? Oh, like,
Hey, but hey, I'll give you. But guess what? You get paid on showing up to shoot it, not whether you end up in the movie. So the
the
money,
truth.
the
That's
check
the truth.
cleared for 2 movies,
the
baby.
truth. Yes.
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 We know what I'm not. All right.
Okay, online.
We're going to see what we
Oh,
got
that's so
online. That's so
exciting.
exciting. This is awesome. All right, Tony, we have any standing ovations that came in online right now. We know sometimes there's a delay. Do we have one?
okay.
All right, I'm going to shout out Johnny Sadler for Thankful for Life. I'm putting up on the screen, too.
Yes.
For life, health, perpetual healing, family, extended family, the power in the experience and being here live, and the power of God in you. Thank you, Johnny. We in there, man.
Yes.
It's a place where people find a home, man. We're in there.
Yes.
Okay, what we doing?
Okay, so if you shared, you get to have several seats, all right? While the rest of us are going to stand to our feet and give an out of this world standing ovation. Okay, here we go. Yes.
Oh man. As as we prepare for today, we're gonna sing. We're gonna sing "Come and Go to That Land." We're gonna sing it together. And the thing is, it's going to be absolutely beautiful and awesome. As we are grateful to be able to sing this, I'm gonna ask Sister Kanitha to start it off. Help me start it off, and help me, and then everybody in here is going to help us out as we go through the message today on Teaching Sunday, If Speaks. And we could hit the Reggie to catch, so we want to catch that volume and that energy in here. Man, when we prepare ourselves in our minds for a space of instruction, we are excited to recognize that that is the true space of consciousness. Everything else that we perceive is literally perception. Physicists will tell you, Carlo Rovelli, one of the great physicists of modern time right now, has a book that's called Reality Is Not What It Seems. And it's very, very powerful. And it's interesting as people try to separate spirit and science, and they try to say, well, there's a difference between religion and spirituality, and there's a difference between those categories, mysticism and hard science. The reality is, the more we study science, the more we study physics, we recognize that the more there is in the world that we do not know. And the more that it aligns with spiritual concepts. So when we sing "Come and Go to That Land," we're not talking about allowing ourselves to be beat up for 50 years and then we die and go to that land. We're talking about come and go to that land right now in the physical and the mental space of recognition, of love and affection, of vibrancy, of health, of wealth, of abundance. We're going to get this thing right. So let's sing together at home and in the space. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound. Oh, ain't no fear in that land. There ain't no fear in that land. There ain't no fear in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound, I said there ain't no fear in that land. There ain't no fear in that land. Oh, ain't no fear in that land. Where I'm bound, oh, there is love in that land. There is love in that land. There is love in that land. Oh, where I'm bound, where I'm bound, there is love in that land. There is love in that land. Oh, there is love in that land. Oh, where I'm bound. Oh, come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Oh, come and go with me to that land. Oh, where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I said, oh, come and go with me to the land. Come and go with me to that land. Oh, come and go with me. Hey, where I'm bound. Morning. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Y'all come and go. Whoa, where I'm bound. Oh, come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound. Well, y'all better sing up in this place. Y'all better sing up in this place. Josh, I'm gonna go to my lapel, man, and switch on over on that for now. And yes. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you putting in your, got me too. You know, I'm gonna ask a question, and today I'm just gonna teach for a few minutes about the importance of something that that we take for granted. It's what we put into our mind space through what we've talked about before as the 7 entry points of the temple. Who remembers those 7 entry points of the temple? What are those 7 entry physical points? 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth. 7 entry points. When we talk about this concept of a temple, we said for a long time here, since one of our first website postings when we started Infinity Fellowship was Ancient Wisdom for Modern Living. And that's been around for 8 years here. What does that mean? That means that ancient wisdom does not have to be weird. The Spirit, I'm telling you, man, Spirit has compelled me to say that. The Spirit was like, Rev, remind people that ancient wisdom ain't got to be weird. That people can study ancient wisdom and be lawyers. They can study ancient wisdom and be entrepreneurs. They can be technicians. They can be scholars. They can be yard workers. They can be anything. They don't have to be people who walk around in robes all the time, floating. Well, the perception that you're floating because the robe is long enough to cover the feet. It's like, brother floated in here. No, he didn't. The robe was, it's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Y'all know I will wear a galabia that my brothers in Nubia and south of Aswan made for me. I'll wear those all the time. I'll wear them to the point where I think I may have, did I try it one time in middle school, the basketball game? I think I tried it. Yeah, I did. My kids were like,
We're like, oh, no, there he goes. Josh is laughing.
oh yeah, it was Joshua is the basketball game.
Because everybody was like, oh, okay, he just gonna walk in. Josh was like, oh, Baba. Oh,
Me,
why would
I
you
got that
come
in common
here
with Brother
that
Charlie
on?
back there. You say, hey, we gonna, whatever we choose, we gonna wear it with swag.
But
And we ain't thinking about what we got our own, we gonna have it.
Yeah, that was,
So I understand that.
yes.
But you know, when we talk about this concept of ancient wisdom, they think that it has to be something that is not applicable. When we talk about ancient wisdom in this space, we want to recognize that it's very applicable. And it's very relevant to how we live today. Now, we cannot go backwards. I'm going to say that because there's conversation that we've had to have with in circles where people want to go backwards. Oh, let's return to the pyramids. Let's return to the ancient temples. Let's return to the old ways. The old ways are there to be lessons and building blocks, but we are not to live or attempt to live in the past because we would not have that past had not the people who were present then been building for the future. Oh, where'd that come from? That we would not be thinking about the past had not people in that particular past been building for the future. And they built for us. So the question is, how do we build? How do we put things in our temple? that are going to allow us that space of not only navigating this life right now, but leaving something for future generations to have as a template. Because right now, if you told me to build a pyramid, I am not going to enlist the services of artisans, craftsmen, craftswomen, designers, labor who was contracted and paid. This is the history. I'm not talking about the mythology. I'm talking about the history. And I'm not going to cut stones from a river in a valley hundreds of miles away and find ways to get logs and put them in place in front of each other. I'm going to get a stone cutting machine, a bulldozer. We got the tools now. And yes, I cannot figure out how mathematically they can align these pyramids at the complexes at Seti I and the complexes at Abydos and the complexes at Giza and Aget Khufu and all these wonderful places that we'll all get to see together one day. I cannot tell you the mathematics that put it together when they were using abacuses and they were using scrolls and they were using whatever was available for them, shale. I can tell you right now, if you need to tell me how big the base of the pyramid is going, the first thing I'm going to is the calculator on my cell phone. Because people at the time were working with what they had and maximizing their present tools. So we as human beings in this world, we don't have any excuse right now. We got things at our fingertips, the technology in this phone. And I want to say this phone, but look at that. Come on. 11:11. It's just been every other hour. I don't even trip anymore.
11:11. Wow.
Important point. The technology that we have right now. I was going to say this phone, but I'm lying. I have a flip phone in my office.
Come on, real.
There's more technology on that flip phone than there was in every computer that it took to get human beings to the moon 50 years ago. In a flip phone, there's more technology than all of NASA when they had all those headsets. There's more in that one flip phone than there was in technology right now, back then. And yet and still, people found a way to get people to the moon. So this is why we live in a space of or the studio, right? I'm going to, again, but trust me, we can get into that space. I always say the four most powerful words, which will be a message in the future as it has in the past, are, and so what next? I always tell people, they're like, oh, well, this happened, that happened, the earth is flat. Okay, great. The earth is flat. Don't sail to the edge. Brother, you need to understand why the world is flat. No, I don't.
Don't do that.
You need to understand that the world is flat if you don't want to fall off.
True.
That's why it's important to you, because you don't want to fall off. That's great. You know, and that's wonderful. And if it works for you, it works for me. But if I tell you to show up and we're going to go visit some folks in the nursing home, and you say I'm not going to the nursing home because the world is flat, and I want to study why the world is flat, then I'm going to say stay there, because whether the world is flat or whether it's round, the people in the nursing home still need somebody to visit them. Ancient concepts, ancient wisdom, modern application of that. And so as we talk about that, it's how do you see progress? How do you see the proof in your life? How do you see that manifestation space? And that's what we're in here. So as we see this manifestation space, Tony's going to switch me over, and hopefully this will stay attached on here so we can show you this in real life and see how we go with that. It'll take a second, and I'm going to see, I've got a friend that came along with me. Yeah, it takes a while to catch up. Oh, listen, it's infinity. We don't play. Okay, so what we have is a big question here. The question is, what is, as it's connecting, it's going to take a second to connect, and it's there. Matter of fact, let me do this. Tony, I'm going to, did it? I did it. Go ahead and hit guided, and then I'm just going to reinitiate it. Mm-hmm. No, don't. Yeah, there it is, right there. You can hit accept. Cool. That's enough. That's great. Thank you, T. And if we have to do that again throughout, we'll do that. That's the universe telling me not to be too long. So look, when we talk about this energy here, right, and the people at home will have this up for them to see. We got two eyes. One, two. Two nostrils, we said. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. All of these are points of entry. And the reason why I say points of entry to the temple, as it was handed down to me in the lineages study that I had, the understanding is that the body itself is a temple. And while, yes, there can be argued that there are other points of entry, that's another message. Right? And even that message is powerful. Because points of entry in the space are built, temples are built in ancient cultures. The reason why they built these templates is for them to say, I'm giving you the framework, now you take it and run from here. The ancient world is, they created the baton, they hand it to us. And where do we take it? For us to take the baton and run backwards, will we win the race? No. So we give thanks for the baton. We make sure we have a secure handoff and we move forward. So the understanding that a temple is built proportionately on the framework of a woman's body. If you read Schwaller de Lubig's The Temple in Man, he talks about that concept. But you have this outer area where everybody is welcome. Anybody can come. Festivals, party. You have the inner sanctum. Those are where the people who are the practitioners come. But then you have the inner sanctum, and that's the Holy of Holies. And that's where one energy that is supposed to be sacred, some energy that you connect with is allowed. The priests do that, but we think about that in the other entry parts of our body. Then we protect our body as a temple. We're careful who we allow into the Holy of Holies, physically and mentally, because whoever goes in the Holy of Holies always leaves something behind. And you want them to leave something good behind. Because it's an energy exchange on the most powerful level, psychologically and physically. But back to these 7 entry points that we talk about here as we are in the space today. And as we talk about the entry points here, this is important because it makes us ask a question. That question is, what are you letting in? What are you allowing into the space of this temple? Because if we talk about this energy of these 7 points, we talk about the eyes. There's some beautiful duality in this. And if you say 7 points of entry and the duality of the past and the present, that gives you the number 14. I say that so that you know that there is always a dual nature to everything in ancient wisdom. If I was ultra weird, I would go down the numerological path and I would talk to you for 6 hours about something that has no way of making sense in your life right now. But it make you think that I'm really, really deep. And again, ancient wisdom does not have to be weird. It can be applicable, which is what we're doing today. So these 14 points, 7, when you think about the past, and now we think about the present. What's something that people see in the past that affects them for life? Memories. How about that? Yes. What you physically witness with your eyes. And a lot of it is around this. There's a lot that we take in, that we see visually, that we don't have any more control over now. This is why this past space is something that we have to release ourselves from. It's important. The reason why is because there's a programming and coding term that I use a lot that I reminded people of a while back. Has everybody ever heard that term before? GIGO. Gigo, GIGO. Somebody, policeman say, well, technically it's pronounced GIGO. Well, do you know what it means though? Gosh, man. The correct folk, they want to get you every single thing. Well, you're going to pay your cell phone bill so I can talk to you tonight, so I can know what that is. We can apply it. Yes, let's do it. But in all fun, it's a programming term that means garbage in, garbage out. Yeah, use it because it's a concept for life. What happens when garbage comes in here? Then you see, as I talked about last week, confirmation bias. If something in this space of trauma, in something in this space of regret, is something there, is something that you saw, and it's something that you allow yourself to stay programmed with, then all you're going to be able to see in the present is what's wrong with me. I'm ugly. I'm not enough. I'm too light. I'm too dark. And these are just a few things. These are a few things because when you get into this space of entry in the temple, when you look at it through the present sense, you have to ask yourself a more important question, and that is, how do I see myself when I look in the mirror? How do I see myself? Do I see myself as fly, as awesome, as beautiful because of what I've done to myself externally? Or do I see myself as that because I know that's who I truly am? Then that's the cake. The external is the icing. It's the sight power. And that's where that is. Let's go to another one that's great, because this is what I love about this energy of these temple points, because we get to ask some serious questions. And when we ask serious questions, one of the questions that we have to ask is about the second point. And the second point that I'm going to now is the ears. I'm not going to ask for anybody's personal story or testimony. I'll take that from you private if we need to. But I need to ask, either through personal experience with no judgment or through people that you know have had difficulty in spaces they've been in, what are some phrases that people have heard that you remember from childhood that were not necessarily so positive? Never amount to anything.
You just like your dad.
Mm. Mm. Say it again. How about that?
Life is so hard.
Oh my God, life is so hard. I got to make some space for all this, because y'all are going and that space is coming in there. So life is so hard. So if that is the case, we could go on. We could go on. These things here. And what's fascinating is, if I decided to take a poll of most people and things that you hear coming up, I would find that there would be an overabundance of what people feel is negative because of the way society goes to what you may have heard positively coming up. And there's a balance, because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when you take all of these and move them over to the present. Then your confirmation bias begins to find evidence that supports this right there. You'll find the evidence, and you'll hear the evidence. And in your present, you will hear evidence. So you won't hear how well you did in every task. You did 10 tasks, and you did 9 of them well. You blundered on one, and you hear from everybody, oh man, you messed up. You're not the sharpest tool in the shed. Oh, I see you, man. Life must be hard. And you're fixing, and those voices come internally, because those are the go-to voices that we have programmed in. So when we program them in, they're going to come out. Garbage in, garbage out. That's the space that we got in there. And that's the importance of coming through that space, being careful of what we allow into our hearing space, because it represents what happens it manifests rather in our presence right now. So we're talking about past, we're talking about present. In our past, we have allowed ourselves to inhale, to breathe some air we shouldn't have been breathing. And most of the time, that air is adrenaline. When things go wrong, we got scared. We got short of breath. When we felt like we weren't worthy to be someplace, we got short of breath and started panting. We started sweating under our arms and the small of our back, and we started feeling that, and that made us more nervous. And we started panting even more, and the adrenaline started pumping even more. And it trapped us into the paralysis of analysis. Because of that, it prevents us in the present from capturing our breath by stopping. Stop the adrenaline. Stop the paralysis of analysis. Stop the fearfulness. Because all of this has a scent. That's why they would say something doesn't pass the smell test. Or something just don't smell right about this deal. A good businessman will say that phrase. Say, something doesn't smell right about it. You know that when in life, when we are moving in, we are in this space and we talk, and there are conversations that the men will have, and there are conversations the women get to have. And I love the conversations that the women get to have, because not only am I not privy to them, but I also end up being the beneficiary of them on some level, because when sisters get together and have these deep and profound conversations and experiences here in Infinity, and there's all kind of stuff they do. I don't know. I just set up the floor, but I know that everybody comes out transformed because of these conversations. And one of the conversations that you've had with me, one of the conversations that my mom had, was around the sense of smell. She's like, because if a person comes in and they don't smell right, or the person smells right, but the kids don't smell right, and it's a consistent thing, something is off. And it's because the sense of smell and the sense of breathing is very much about intention. That is very intentional. We want to make sure that even when we hit crisis situations, that we begin to breathe deeply, because the breath controls everything that animates our bodies. So what a wonderful opportunity for us to stop in the present and find ways to navigate this space. Finally, and people would say this is the most important one here. That's the mouth. You got to be careful what you put in your mouth. Garbage in your mouth, it's going to be garbage out your mouth. Garbage in is garbage out. Now, what ends up happening is we have things filtered through these senses. So oftentimes from our past, things enter our temple, into our mind, through our sight. They enter in through our ears. We breathe them deep within us. And then from this space, they all come out in the mouth. They come out and they manifest in real life as the things we say and the things we do. The reason why is because, remember, those 4 stages of creation that I've taught before. The first thing is thought. Whatever religious space, the idea of manifesting within your mind before it is manifest in reality. The second thing that happens is speech. Coming from that mouth. That's that spoken word. The thing that is activated from the speech is chaos. Chaos is change and transformation. From the chaos comes the order. And the order is exactly what the thought originally is. So the question is, what things are you saying? What is coming from your mouth? The beauty is we have an opportunity, and I'm glad we got this screening. I'm glad we got this going online so we can go back and look at this and get a lot of this energy. And then Sister Kanitha's going to chime in something, and then we're going to go. When we think about the past and we think about the present, These are what we have. Past is something that has been programmed into us. We can break that by focusing on things that are beyond just the physical senses. The present is all we have right now. It's all we have. We may not have the future. Depending on where you are politically in the world, you may think there may not be a future. I don't know. But the world has been created and destroyed over and over again millions of times anyway. So there's always this point of transformation. But in the present, that's what we got. The past we can't affect anymore. The future we can't affect. So right now we got the present. So what seeds will we plant in the present in a tangible way to help us through our daily existence and to guarantee that whatever comes in the future, we put together one heck of a cornerstone. And that's the beauty of it. So as we are in the past, we've got trauma. I'm just going to pick that one. Present is opportunity. So whereas before in the past you took trauma, now you allow yourself to see opportunities to support. Opportunities to support yourself and others. That is the framework of the things you see. You can see now instead of trauma, you can see beauty. Where those spaces of criticism came from, you can literally transform your way of thinking to say, I don't care if they told me I was to this or to that. Right now, I'm happy being me. I'm regretting nothing about me. That's what I am in there right now. And because of that, when I allow myself to see the beauty in myself, I begin to see it in others. People attack other people because hurt people hurt people. Hurt people, verb, hurt people. Hurt comes from the past. Now here's the responsibility piece. This is a present action. If you're choosing to be hurtful, if you're choosing to be harmful to people, if you're choosing to not see people for who they are, if you're choosing that, then you are actively deciding that you're going to drag by any means necessary all the junk from your past deliberately into your right now. It's a conscious decision to drag it in. And you don't have to do that. When we talk about that space, we have an opportunity to now transform. The most dangerous thing that could have happened to me is that I got this tool right here because I'm going in and I love it. I'm seeing, I'm a visual person on things, you know. Some people have that, you know, that static memory about word, chapter, and verse. I see the pictures, and that's how I do it. I'm very much that kind of learner. So if we look at this in our ears, we saw what we had with past trauma, present opportunity. What comes in our ears in our past may very well be belief. A lot of times things were passed on to us from grown-ups and people in our community that was simply a belief about themselves. The pejorative term or negative term, you just like yo, fill in the blank. That is not saying that something is wrong with you. That is saying I feel so bad about the choices that I made that every time I see something in your DNA that reminds me of the choice that I made, rather than take responsibility for saying this person may not have been equality, rather than saying, you know what, their DNA was necessary to go with mine to create this beautiful human being, we say, I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate myself, you just like your fill in the blank. And that's not on you. But it can become a belief when you allow yourself to hear it too much. But now as responsible adults, you have a new opportunity for support. So there's an old song that I'll be somewhere listening for my name. Oh, I'm just going to write this one out. I'm going to write this one out. And I know the people at home are seeing this too. Let me get my calligraphy pen. It's not what they call you. It's what you answer to.
Wow.
I've been in some podunk weird places in town. I've heard the word. I've heard it. I've heard somebody almost lose their breath. Hey, 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 hey. Just losing it, going in. I think, excuse me, yes? Oh, I was trying, didn't you hear me? I said, no, I heard what you were saying, but obviously you weren't talking to me. So why would I turn around and answer to something that I know I'm not?
So true. So true.
So in this space, you have to ask yourself, when you're in this opportunity to hear, what are you listening for? Are you listening for those previous beliefs so that you can find the evidence for that belief? Are you listening for somebody to tell you that you're just like so-and-so? Are you listening for somebody and you're ignoring everything else? Change the way that you're hearing. Change the way that you allow things to enter into your temple, because they do absolutely have an effect that is long term. All right, we got that. No's. We talked about this. In the past, this may have been a space where you had adrenaline. I think it's I-N-E. I got that. Yes. Give me, I write fast and I just spell. I check it in. But you have adrenaline in the space. You know what I'm gonna do? This is what happens. Because see, when you're in my position, people will be like, yeah, that'll be it. That'll be it.
Don't miss it.
I used a word. I used a word once that, you know, I told somebody. I said, you know, this is gonna compliment you. And the person, we were in a little meeting, and the person was, you know, a little arrogant. And I said, well, you know, in terms of flattery, you probably don't want to use that word. Did the screen go out, Tom? Okay, good. I'll come back on. We'll do the same thing I did before. Oh, there it is. It's there. Yeah, okay. So when I was in that situation of, let me make sure I get that on there. You know, I was talking about that the people that would compliment, and, you know, he tried to embarrass me about, you know, well, you know, maybe the use of that isn't right because, you know, we don't want to talk about flattery and putting people's ego, you know, and I just smiled. He said, well, you understand, right? And I said, COMPLEMENT. That means that this would go along, this would be in synchronization with what you're working. It goes along. Compliment, not compliment. Like I'm saying good things about you. I'm saying here are good partners. So, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And I say, but I needed the right adrenaline. So one person will say, it was a great message, but I can't listen to all that because he can't spell. You throw baby out with the bathwater. So I know, I don't care. I'll step up to a standard of excellence and own that thing. You got adrenaline in the past that threw you out, but you can transform that into space, into affirmation. How do you translate it to affirmation? You meditate. You slow down. You take things into perspective. I write like I'm writing in my journal. Watch this though. I'm gonna show you I have great penmanship. Perspective. You take that into perspective. So even when you have people who are attacking you, their sight is not there. The hearing is not there. You're in a space of breathing. You have to pause sometimes because the gift of the breath allows you to get perspective on everything that you're seeing and everything that you're hearing and everything that you're speaking. You get hit with a difficult situation, and instead of jumping up, going into it, you say, I'm going to figure that out. Hold on. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. You pronounce on your map, I'm going to need 5 feet and a minute. so that my kids see me in my home when I'm growing up, you know. And you have to do that. Again, ancient wisdom, modern living. These are tools for modern living, and this is how you get into that space where you're there. Finally, we get this pronouncement space. Oh, in the mouth. In the past, you may have gotten poison that came out of your mouth. And look, give everybody, including me, give ourselves some grace on this, because there's some times that we said some stupid stuff. There are times when we were hurt and we hurt some people with our words. There are times when we lashed out and we didn't even know it. The example I give is a difficult situation. Right now, Sister Kenitha hold on, let me make sure I filter this.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What? Hold on. Let me break it down.
Okay. Okay. Perspective, I got to go back, filter the past. Sister Kenitha would never, under normal circumstances, backhand me right now and break my nose. Right? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that before I said it, I was pretty confident. However, there's a caveat. Right, there's a front hand, right? But she would never intentionally backhand me, just out of malice. But oh my God, if there was a wasp right here that flew, and it just came in the purview, and I say this because you protect yourself, which is good. But if I use the wasp, or black folk we say a wasps, how we get that in walls? A waltz. When we get a waltz, and it comes in here, and if it appears out of nowhere, she is going to protect herself. She is going to, get the wasp. And this table may go over. I may get broken glasses. I may all of that. Oh yeah, it may happen. But did she do that out of malice, or did she do that because she was protecting herself and I just happened to be close enough to her? Lots of times when we are close to people and they're getting hurt, we've done the same thing. We are being hurt, so the first thing we do is try to protect ourselves and back things around, and we inadvertently, most of the time, say things that hurt the people who are closest to us. Parents, we say things to parents, spouses, friends, because they catch us at the wrong time, and we're in a space of self-protection. And we have to say, I didn't mean that. It's just that it came out. But we have to be careful when it comes out, because that can come out as poison. And people don't have the context. There are things that people say to you that has nothing to do with you. It has to do with protection of themselves. And some people protect themselves by tearing other things down. They don't know how to do otherwise. Yeah, man, you look good in that suit today. Yeah, ma'am, I'm not where I need to be, man. The belt wasn't the right belt. I didn't have the right shoe colors. But you look great, man. I'm glad you said it. Thanks for lying, man. But I know I don't have.
Never mind.
I'm going to give you an actor's phrase from theater. Take the note. When somebody gives you a compliment, take it. Thank you. I receive it. Sadler, right? That's old school. I receive it. Give it. Even if you don't get anything back. I told somebody, man, that's a sharp suit, and really meant it. And people said, thank you, made their day. Another person, that's a sharp suit. But that was for me. I gave a compliment. You can't tell whether you believe it or not, or you trust it in there. But again, the poison that comes out. But when and then we're going to open the floor, take any questions, and wrap. When you have the past that has caused you, when you experience all of these things, to utter and spew poison out of your mouth. When you allow yourself to transform that in the right now, then it becomes the power of present. I want to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. The power of present proclamation. Listen, this is the PPP grant program. I didn't say it's the PPP loan because you could get the PPP loan, but if you ain't got your paperwork in order, you're going to have to pay it back. But if you got your paperwork in order, then it's more of a grant. So I want you to have the PPP loan. It's the power of present proclamation. It's proclaiming right now what is true. I don't care what you said to me back in the day. I don't care what you told me and what I saw. I don't care what mess I allowed to breathe into my lungs. I don't care what things I said from my mouth. All of this don't matter because right now I am proclaiming in the present. In the present I am. In the present I do. In the present it's I. Fill in the blank. And we don't have to worry about will, might, should, could, try. Look at that. All them things. We don't need to worry about all that. Because right now, everything that we learned, every single thing that we learned in this past, every single thing was a lesson for a blessing. Everything that you got, you refilter it. And when you refilter it, you bring it forth in manifestation with the power of present proclamation. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Ashe. All right. At home and abroad. Sister Kenita, what came up in your consciousness? And then I'm going to open the floor for questions that may come up. Mm-hmm.
So from the past, I'm always thinking about how do you, because when you were talking, especially when you were talking about the reprogramming and the ego, garbage in, garbage out. And when we're going through the process of reprogramming, you've also got to put something in its place. And so I put that like in the present, we're always reprogramming. Like we are consistently reprogramming things from the past, changing what it is that we were saying. Like you said about the power of present proclamation. So our present proclamations are what we are filling the gap when we're getting rid of all of the old from the past, all the old programming, all the old things we saw, all the old things we heard, all the old things we smelled, all the old things that we said, that we're having to fill it with something new in this power of proclamation. But we have to do that so that we are ready for the future. So you're consistently reprogramming for the future. You are consistently being mindful of what it is that you're experiencing now for the future so that you don't have more of the past. And we don't then pass that down to the next generation of more of the same. You know, I was hurt, and so I'm gonna hurt you, and I'm gonna hurt my kids, and I am being very conscious, being a conscious individual, because I would say about the ancient wisdom, one thing that they did have was that they were very conscious about what it is that they were doing, what it was that they were experiencing, and they were always mindful of us. Like they were always thinking about the future. They weren't so self-involved and, you know, it's me and my problem. I can't get nothing. I'm just gonna sit right here. You know, they always were thinking about what is for the next. Even if there were trip ups, they were always thinking about that. But I was just saying that for the reprogramming. But can you talk about your lineage? I wanted you to say something more about when you were saying about the ancient wisdom and for modern times, and how you were able to come to these places utilizing, and you're not weird, right? So, because a lot,
Thank
you
you.
know, there were people who
Tony, give me
they're
the
like
podium.
they're ancient, you know, they're into all of that, and they got the black knowledge, and you know, I would sit around them, and I'd be there, and I was like, these people are weird. Okay, not doing that. I'm not gonna do that ritual and that stuff there, and, you know.
Yeah, okay. And I'm going to say this because, this is something that, yes, that needs to be said. I've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with scholars. I've had this conversation with community folk. I had this conversation with my brother. But there's a modern use of terms that younger generations use right now. I don't like using it, but I recognize it's real. And this is something that somebody made up on the internet as a joke name. It's terrible because that's a powerful spiritual word. And I know people say it, but I almost wish they would have picked up another word to label people. But I understand the concept, and I understand exactly the mentality that is being spoken of. And that is the mentality that I want to impress you with all my outward knowledge. I want to teach you and show you who you are. And that's it. I don't want to demonstrate that this is working miracles in my life, because I can't. But I can hide the fact that nothing is working out by sending you down a rabbit hole. I move from those circles, and we talk about lineage. So I have a long lineage that I'm proud of. I heard Cornel West talking, and he was talking about come from the prophetic tradition, and come from the prophetic tradition of John Coltrane and the prophetic tradition of the blues. And he was talking about that. I was like, you know what? That's interesting. You have to be reminded of where people come from, because you also want to be in an advisement space spiritually with people who have some understanding of what they're really talking about. Not that they just watched a couple of videos and then went into trying to teach or share, but where did you learn this? And what's the level of depth? Because we're all standing on the shoulders of those who came before. So when I came up and out of school, even in college, I was taught by W. Dury Cox, who was Daddy Cox was his name. He's a professor, a genius mind in tech design, a genius mind in acting, directing. He had a gift of finding and discovering something inside you that you didn't know you had. And I'll never forget, I was 18 years old doing my first college play. I finally had a chance to be in a play. I went to a predominantly white school. And so I would audition and get these really great accolades from everybody. And then they would always make me the butler in the play. And I never would get a lead role because I wasn't in the environment. So I questioned my own gifts until I ended up at Tennessee State. And I was like, oh, now if I don't get a role, it's because I'm a terrible actor, because everybody looked like me. So that barrier's gone. So my first play, my brother Greg was in the play. I just stepped on campus. He's been there, years. So he started doing plays when he was in college and did some stuff at church. But, I was all high school doing that. So I stepped in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to show y'all how it is. So they made me the understudy, and there was a church scene. And we had the entire Aristocrata bands playing for us, the orchestra, rather, it was like 60-piece orchestra, Meister singers, like 50 people in the choir. It was Pearly, the musical. And because I was an understudy for that role, I had a second act role that I got a solo, and then I played a deacon in the background. Well, little 18-year-old hubris me, who had just grown from not 6 months before, shot from 5'6" to 6'2", bass voice and started dropping down, all of that. So I'm feeling like, here's my opportunity. I told my boy Philip Bell, Phil, if you're watching, you'll remember this story. I told Phil, I said, man, when they open the scene, it's a church scene, I'm going to go off. I'm going to get to shouting. I'm going to fall down. I'm going to flip over the bench. I'm going to do all that, right? So we come to the run the dress rehearsals. We're going. Daddy Cox is sitting in the back, very back of the auditorium. All the lights out is perfectly black. They said, top of the show, action. All the music starts, and then you open the curtain, everybody's shouting, and I go in. Man, if those Church of Laugh videos that you see of people like baptizing themselves and they done got to running up the aisle and stuff, that was me. I got about 45 seconds of that in, It was so loud in there. I don't know how we heard it. From the back of the room, we hear, cut, cut. Everything comes to a screeching halt. You don't see anything, but you hear, Cox had that deep voice. Mr. Carr. My brother says, sir, not you. The other Mr. Carr. I'm on the floor behind a pew. Can't barely breathe. I want to shout out. I done coming in a Cadillac, leaving in a Honda. I done it all. I done red leather, yellow leather. I done it all. I done got all the tongues out, you know. Seashells, seashells. I was going in. I was like, I get up in front of the pew. I say, yes, sir. I'm thinking, I got noticed. It was so quiet, you hear rat piss on cotton. Next thing I heard was, your brother's the star of this show, not you. That's all you heard. Ooh. I was broken. I don't know how I made it through the rest of the show. I came out, that music started, I was Catholic. I wouldn't. Afterwards, I'm trying to go home. Cox said, Mr. Carr, come to my office. And he showed me the pictures on his wall. He had an office. They had black and white photos of people all over the years, going back to the 1940s. And he said, there's Moses Gunn. You know, Oscar-winning actor, Moses Gunn. He went to school here. I went to school with him. He's one of my students afterwards. He said, there's Odie Hoover. He's one of the greatest. He just went through. I'm like, wow. He's like, there's a Sister Helen that was on 227. You see her as a young, I'm like, wow. All of that. And then he's like, and you know, of course, you know, my #1 student. And he's a professor that discovered and brought out Oprah Winfrey when she was at school. And so he looked at me, he said, come over here and read this. And he had a big sign on the back of his door, and it was a quote from Shakespeare. It said, there are no small parts, only small actors. So everybody plays. He said, play your role. You got a gift, you're gonna do well, but just remember that there ain't no such thing as a small part. If you wanna be a small actor and you wanna be a small person around your ego, then you do that, but you won't do that here. And it was a lesson. So I came out of that tradition with him, Jamie McDonald Williams, came out of college, studied with Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, went to Egypt with him the first time, got initiated there, studied under the great Baba, and we talked about this, Baba, I almost said Fakhruddin Dean, but that's my last one. But studying under Baba Kolioso, he wants to come through. Kolioso Fakhruddin, who taught me the sacred science of the Sweat Lodge. Baba Matahochi Shangodele Zanu, who's one of the greatest legendary Babalaos in the world, gave me my necklaces of lekes off the floor. I mean, took us through all of those. Sister Monifa, Elao Shun, washed me in the river, rogated my head. All of those spaces were there. And of course, continued that relationship. Baba Umar Jite, who's still on the planet here, one of the spiritual teachers that I had in that space. So from Ifa to the Kemetic tradition to the Christian tradition, Reverend Dr. Albert G. Jones, Kane Avenue Baptist Church, a pastor I will continue to chase in terms of how he cared for people. He knew when you made an A, he knew when you made an F, he knew every single thing. He kept up with you. You know, Deacon Wade and the guys who they would never let you walk past them without shaking their hand. They would never let you shake their hand without looking them in the eye. They would never let you shake their hand without looking them in the eye, saying your name clearly and giving them a firm grip. That's why we do that with our children here in this space, because this is a space where they may not get that instruction Monday through Saturday, aside from in your homes. But when they have a chance to come into a fellowship with other people, that's the beauty of community. You get those things handed to you. So from that lineage to studying with other great professors and other teachers, traveling to places, going to conferences, getting initiated, spending. The first time I poured a sweat lodge, it was probably 17 years into me going to sweat lodges and attending and building them. You know, that tradition of I went to a sweat lodge and then next week I'm a host one. That's terrifying to me. It's terrifying from a responsibility space. It's terrifying because those of you who had a chance to sweat with us recently in our lodge for the first time, y'all know it's no joke. It's really a powerful space, and we're still chasing doing that right. So lineage-wise, that connection to Baba Omar Jite, who I hope will come and speak here again. He kicked us off our first year. Hopefully he'll come back to this space again. But his tradition of studying around the world and studying Chinese medicine and becoming an expert and moving to Nigeria when he was a kid and getting trained in the language, and his brothers and sisters all being raised there, and him fighting in liberation armies when he was a young man and then coming back to the United States. All of this is stuff that got poured into me. I had a group of brothers with me who would study. We had a study group, and we put that energy into the universe and the atmosphere. But that is very much a part of the lineage. Through him and his organization, the Underground Railroad, which used to be a strong organization in Nashville, they would host a Kwanzaa celebration that was a citywide celebration, and at that celebration, they would name the Queen Mothers. And so the Queen Mothers annually would be named until they reached 5. We know that circle of 5 has now transitioned. All of them have transitioned. Mom was one. But I look at that, and we've been talking, and I don't realize until I look back. I have to do that more. I had to realize when I get back the lineage that's there. I met Queen Mother Melba Sewell, who was one of the Queen Mothers. She was the last one to pass a couple of months after Mom, and I think she was 96, maybe. I think she was 95 or 96. So they lived long lives. But I had a chance to meet her around the time of the ceremony. Turns out she's connected to one of my cousins. And so I'm like, oh, wow, that experience of getting to know her. Queen Mother Bernice Brunson, who lived around the corner, her son still lives there. I published her first book. I was blessed to publish her first book of poetry. My mother, of course, I grew up with. Queen Mother Dorothy Smith, her house, or her remaining house where Maria lives, is like 2 houses up from this house. And I remember going to her house as a child because she and her daughter were the ones who introduced my mother and father to Kane Avenue Baptist Church. That's how far back we go. And then there's Miss Zuli Ursery, who many people, it may not remember, she died years ago. Miss Zuli Ursery, her son was Eddie Frierson. He was our barber who raised us, and he would always talk to us about civil rights and lineage there. Miss Zuli Ursery lived on my street at the end of the block. And when we sold candy, we thought she was the strange lady, because on her porch, you couldn't see anything because the porch had poster boards and newspaper clippings hanging down with paper clips and strings, the entire porch. And we would go to sell candy. We'd have to knock on every door. And I would go to Miss Ursery, and I was like, Miss Ursery, you'd like to buy some candy? She said, Ka, come up here. Come on up here. And she would always buy candy, but I had to pull down one of those articles and read something from Jet Magazine or something from Ebony about Martin Luther King or a civil rights movement. I would have to read it aloud. And then every time I got there, even if I was just walking by or riding by to go to the park, my brother, my sister, Alex Pello, all the guys in the neighborhood, anytime she would stop us and we'd have to tell her about what we read the previous time. So when I think about that, you know, I'm gifted. I used to struggle with that when we first started in Infinity. I was like, oh, why me? Why me? And Spirit was like, well, all of these intersections, you're uniquely prepared to share some of this. So I'm grateful for that in my life. And all of us, if we look back, we can find things that we think are coincidence. They're not coincidence. You absorb something from some person, from everyone. And when we get to that place in here, and of course, Baba Koleoso Nasheed Fakhreddin, who I did meet later in life. And it's amazing. We went to an event once. We went up to Kentucky for something that Koleoso was doing. And we all sat on the floor in this studio. We're going to do this meditation. And we remember this the other day. And I was sitting there. This was maybe year 2 of Infinity. And we went up for this small conference, and I was just sitting there on my little mat, and he saw me out there in the audience, out there in the crowd. And he stopped everything before it started. He said, Baba, he said, you come up here with us, with the elders. And I was like, well, he said, no, you come up here and sit with us because you got stuff to teach too. So he was very much someone that I would go to, and we would share things. And I experienced, although in my mind psychologically, I'll always sit on the floor for an elder. I will sit on the floor and absorb from anybody who's an elder. Elder, let's filter this through what I talked about people being weird. Elder does not mean old. Elder does not mean old. My mama taught me that. There's an old saying, there ain't no fool like an old fool, right? Some people don't get it right. You respect the spaces that they get it right in. But an elder is somebody who has something invaluable from life experience to pass on to you, and they give that. So while I was in that and have the fruit to show for it. Show for it. If you're teaching gratitude, show me how gratitude is manifested in your life. That's what we want to see. If you're teaching family, show me your kids and the family and how they're manifesting. If you're teaching business, show me the spreadsheet. Show me the net worth, because that's what I want to learn from. I don't want to learn from some people who are working in theory. I want to learn from practice. If you're going to teach me how to close a deal, how to sell a house, I want to talk to somebody who's closed deals and sold houses, because it's different when you're studying it and when you're actually doing it. So we all the same thing. That's something that I've been blessed with in that space, to see the transition from student into, in people's designations, peer in many ways, even the elders, but then to systemically see. Yeah. To see from a space of gratitude. Every single person I name now is not here with us anymore. All of that long list of people, they're not physically walking around more. And so I think when I see that, I give gratitude that they are spiritually walking around. That's why I have to keep telling these stories. I have to translate this because it's important, because that's the way they keep their legacy alive. So when I pass on information, when I pass on knowledge, when I pass on wisdom to you all in this space, I'm doing that because I'm so grateful that somebody took the time to pass it off to me, and that I've seen fruit for it. I didn't always do everything I was supposed to do. I didn't always do it the right and correct way. I've had some heartache. I've had some pain. I've had all of that. If we had an organ, somebody would say, I've had some good days. I could go through that. I've had some hills to climb. You know, that's the song, and it has meaning. But the reality is, though, I still fall back on the things that I remember. So I want us to fall back in this space on the things that we learn that come from bearing fruit. This face today, the power of present proclamation, this is all about bearing fruit. And that's where we are in the space. What questions do you have? Here we go. Yes, Denise, let me pass you. Oh, yeah, I'll pass this mic and they can pass it around. Sure, if you get that, that's Reggie's mic. Pass that over to Sister Denise so that the people at home can hear. And Tony, you may have to read off from the screen. I don't have it in front of me. If somebody says something, I'll pass you a mic.
Is it on?
Yeah, that's the Reggie mic, Josh.
Okay. So, first and foremost, Infinity to me is such a safe haven. It's a safe haven of energy, encouragement, inspiration, love. And I know reprogramming goes on consistently. Mm-hmm. So for me, I get frustrated within myself because my grandparents taught me the best that they knew.
Yes.
And so my struggle is with starving to continue to learn today, mm-hmm. and being stuck with traditional passed down things. And it's an internal warfare at times because When my emotions are up, when I'm feeling anxious, I know, Denise, go, be still, focus. But then I hear, you know, your suffering is for right now, but there's life in heaven after you move on. And it's a battle, because it's like, I know they taught me the best that they knew, but it becomes a conflict for me.
Yes.
Because I kind of feel uneasy, because I love what I'm learning, and I'm happy that I'm hungry and want to continuously learn to keep improving me, because what I'm taking in, I give out. But then I find myself not intentionally going back to the past, but it just kind of rings in my head and even in my heart, because they were treasures for me. Everybody didn't get to grow up with grandparents. They were 99.9% of my life. And so just trying to learn to appreciate them giving me the best that they had, and partnering with, I'm learning the best that I have today, and not feel like I'm teetering back and forth internally and setting in with frustration.
Yes, I love it. If somebody has a question, just pass it to the next person. So I'm gonna go back to the screen, and Tony, I know people get home and see this, because that's important too. So let's look at this. I wrote down some of the things that you said, Denise, in real time. My struggle is, it's a battle. The past rings in my heart, trying to learn. What do all these things have in common? Negative and in the past. But are they in the past? They're not in the past, are they? Why? Because we have taken this, right? We have taken this and essentially moved it over here. But if we take it back to where we were, then in the present, what does this become? My struggle, right. I embrace the opportunity to fill in the blank. It's a battle. It's a victory. It's a victory. Y'all gonna get me shouting up in this place, and I ain't gonna care. I'm even gonna make it even more active from that. That was great. I am victorious. 3, the past rings in my heart. Ooh, I'm gonna go hard with this. I live in the now. Because all of these things are, guess what? Isn't it 4? I'm trying to learn. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm being. I'm doing. Active, pulling from the present of the past. Because guess what? All of these things that we looked at, all of these things on this other side here, all of those things have in common is that they're keeping the past alive. They all came through these various entry points, and now they're all coming out in the present. But we're going to change what comes out, and that's the practice. Go ahead.
Here again with the repetition, because a lot of times, so that's in our subconscious, which is just like a record player. Consistently, that's the things that we always hear all the time.
Yes.
Kids, every child, what's the first thing that they learn? A, B, C, D, E, F. And the first thing that they're able to learn is the da, 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 na, 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 na. And they're like, okay, it's A, B, C. And we sing it with them all the time. And then they figure it out. They get it. So wherever they go in school, they A, B, C, D. And I could ask all of us, we know that ourselves. It was the repetition. And that's the thing that gets us all the time, is that this looks good. I mean, this is a great change, but what is playing in the subconscious, even when we're asleep, when we're not doing anything, when we're not being conscious about anything, is that. So when I was saying you have to, when I was saying even for myself, is when I had to fill in something new, it's not going to just stick like that, because that has been going on since we were young. Or in situations, and it is like a leech, baby. It has been with us through the good and the bad, right?
Yes, that's right. It's familiar.
To change it, though, I embrace the opportunity. 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 My name is I embrace the opportunity. I embrace the opportunity. It has to become that loop. And that's where we always, it's harder for us, because we have to retrain. Our brains are so great of an organism, and they are computers. So when you are putting in new data, it will accept it, but you have to reprogram it so that the computer will accept that as the new truth.
Come on.
Because it will go to default.
That's right. Default.
To what it's used to.
Come on.
And the old programming. When we got to do the new one, the new. I am victorious every morning. Walking in the car, I'm victorious. At night, I'm victorious. I am victorious. I am victorious. This is why I do the songs that I do. Everything is good. Because it was for me when I was in the car and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. My life is, it's so hard. Right?
That's right.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. I got it. Yes, I got it. Oh, I got it good. No extra words. Simple. Everything is good. And when I'm somewhere and somebody is attacking, everything is good.
Yes.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Kids acting up. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. But, it's the repetition, because I don't want to go into default of old.
That's right.
The past.
That's
I
great.
want to live in the present that is correcting my future and future generations, so that we have something to give to them.
That's
a new
awesome.
program.
Yes, a new program. All right. Quick question here, and then we'll take any Tony we have online. That's excellent. But you think about negative comments. If you accumulated 100,000 negative comments growing up, you got some making up to do. It makes sense to say I got to put 100,000 good in to break over those 100,000 negatives. That's it. Yep, Drake. Yeah, it's on.
First and foremost, I want to give thanks for you guys sharing your knowledge and love with us. I really love how you explain that it's a program, and understanding that it's a program, we see things as like a computer. And nowadays, it's hard to see spirituality compared to computer information, but actually, it aligns very well. In a sense of program, we click on the computer and we start playing a program. It's the same as us spiritually. It's like we're running our own program. And this program has been created through the 7 entry points. They have been, just how you say, they have been, it has been recorded. It has been recorded, and as it's been recorded, it's created this reality. But the process of this is to get a new program.
Yes.
But it's not easy. It's
Yes.
not easy. Just like he mentioned that the holies of holies, that's very precious, very valuable. But it wasn't an easy process just to be in that part of the temple.
That's
Like,
right.
There is certain aspects and certain things that you were qualified for to be able to work on that
Yes.
one day or the special days in that temple. So in a sense of individuality, how well or how much do we value our holies of holies? So how much do we pay attention? How much do we pay attention to the 7 entry points? You know, we listen to things daily. We see things daily. We smell things daily. We talk a lot. You know, so generally speaking, we just have to be careful on creating our program, and it's not going to be easy. Just like she said, like it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Just like I said, you know, wrestling with God. You know what I mean? Whatever your religion or your faith may be, that verse right there is no joke. You know, this path that we are taking to understand complete nirvana or understanding or fulfillment, wrestling with God is a daily thing. But it's understanding how aware are you that you're preparing your temple to be filled with the Holy of Holies. I'm just very thankful to receive this, like you said, practical information that you can see in everyday life. And one thing we have to be very careful of and aware of is, just like you said, the program and the computer is the virus. The virus actually, like you said, the poison.
A computer can get a virus, baby.
He said,
yes.
He said the
Yes.
poison, right? And he mentioned that from the mouth. But in reality, poison is so strong that it affects the entire body. So you cannot dismiss the fact that poison just comes out of the mouth. Just like you said, what goes in affects the whole body, right?
Yes, that's right.
So with that being said, we have to find out everyone's virus is different. So us all standing here talking about one thing, it can be divided into a million things. But we have to really be the high priest of our temple to find out what is our poison that is causing us not to be able to receive and put ourselves in the present. Put ourselves in the present. Because the temple you create every day is the same temple you're going to look at every day. Right? You are the one who built that temple.
Yes.
Right? The high priest, though, of course, there were those who are trying to build it along with it, but the high priest was very responsible on the structure of the temple.
Yes.
When God obeyed Moses to build it exactly as I've commanded you. But in the same way, how are we going to build our temple the way we command ourselves? If it is a struggle, how can I get out of this struggle? If I'm looking for the past, what's causing me to keep looking in the past, right? What's causing me to keep pressing rewind, One of these books I've been reading by Joe Dispenza, he gives an example is that when we wake up, we're automatically living in the past. And the reason why that is because we think about yesterday, right? We think about last week.
That's reflection.
Right?
It's a power of reflection.
What I didn't accomplish. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. That day no longer exists.
It doesn't.
But what does exist? As Red's been saying, the now exists.
Yes.
So how are you going to build, live, and act in your temple now? So understanding that through your words of wisdom, I really appreciate it. I guess my question would be is that how do we do that? You get what I'm saying? Like, we understand the 7 entry points. We understand that it's not going to be easy.
Yes.
But how do we design a powerful software that that allows us to understand that? Look, even though I know the virus is aware, I have this system that's going to be like, I'm not letting you in. It's not even going to corrupt no files in here. You know what I mean? So, in a sense, like, how do we do that? Because understanding the entry points is good, but we got to make sure we have gatekeepers by those entry points to make sure that we know what's going in and what's going out.
That's good. That's good. That's excellent. I'm going to give you the short answer. Understanding is doing. Understanding is doing. Knowing better is doing better. If you've been in a space where you did something you knew you didn't really want to do it, you did it. And then the first thing you say to yourself is, shoot, I knew better. I knew better than this. Somebody you dealing with it. I know better than this. I shouldn't be doing this. I don't know why I did this. I know better. Well, do you? Because if knowing better is doing better, and you know that every time A, B, C comes up, that F is on the way at some point. You know yourself enough to say, you see A, you see B, you see C happening, and you're like, oh, I know where this goes. But maybe it'll be different this time because I know, I understand. You know, you had that response. You know, yeah, I know, I got it. I know 7 temple points. I got it. Yeah, I know. I know better. Well, do you? Because when you know better, you do better. Understanding is knowing. So yes, Trey, we got to set that up. That's why you have to update your system. That's why you have to reload the virus software if you're using it. That's why you have to check your firewall.
Right.
Sometimes you got to password protect your computer. You can't let everybody get your phone. You ever had people grab your phone and you show them a picture and the first thing they start doing is like that? I used to tell people, you don't want to go left or right on my phone now. You might be traumatized. I was showing you one picture and you kept going in and you would probably be mad at me and act like I traumatized you. No, I share one thing and you decided to explore further. But many of us, right? That's the space. You got to password protect yourself because people will go through your stuff and they will knock you off kilter when you're trying to get in alignment. And you got to be careful because some people do not have the same boundaries. They will swipe your pictures if you give them your phone. And so just know that at a time. So when it comes down to it, I think that's it. It's the question of pondering that happens. When we talk about the Temple Mount, whether that is in Kemet or Egypt or at the Oracle at Delphi in Greece, there's an inscription in hieroglyphs that is written, and I put it on the screen up here. Man, and of course woman, know thyself and you shall know the secrets of the universe. You know what's coming in your temple, know it. In places where I don't know, instead of going to the hell I knew better, should have done better, I start saying, you know what, wait a minute, what is my lesson that I'm getting out of this? You know what, yeah, let me go sit and have a cup of coffee and figure that out. You know, let me go in the back in the woods and walk a little bit and see what I got from that. Where along the way did I get that? Let me sit down, have a conversation in the car. Let me call one of my best friends or go sit at their house and sit and talk and say, you know what am I not getting? Well, okay, yes, but that is an active participatory energy in changing and transforming and reassuring, knowing thyself. It's spending that time. When we don't know ourselves, and I'm going to say this again, this is where the weird stuff comes in when we talk about ancient wisdom. Because it's easier now to spend time simply speaking to the dot on the camera than it is to spend time in the real world with folks. And a lot of times people are trying to translate what they receive from here instead of what they receive from out here. There are people, I've been in the industry, there are people, the first time I did a newscast, I went and there was this great newscaster and they were awesome. And I talked to them afterwards. I was kind of starstruck. It was local and they're big time person. They don't think they're here now anymore. But I was a little guy, I was high school and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so friendly. And they really were. And I was glad because sometimes people, you see them on the box and you meet them in real life and it's not the same, right? And the next interview I did an interview, I was in college and I was on the set with a person interviewing me and they said, okay, well, are you good with, that they got the mic on and said, great, we're just gonna go through a couple things, great. That camera came on, they were like, oh, we're so, and we have here, this is so exciting. They were doing all of that. And then as soon as the camera went flat, they were like, are we clear? Oh, you got about 30 seconds, then we'll be back on. Right. That's what I was like. And then they were like, 3, 2, and we are joined again, and we are so happy. I was like, oh my God, I'm freaked out.
They make it difficult. They make it hard. Yeah.
I am freaked. I was complete. I mean, I'm still, that is, again, that is the learning side of the face of trauma. Because I remember that was visceral. I was like, I had never experienced anything like that. It was like all to life for the red dot. But in real life, man, woo, funk master. I said, gosh. So again, it's not this or that. It's how do you, in real life, in real time, adjust your bandwidth.
Right.
When you do this, here's the thing about it. 100,000 negatives. You got to catch that up with 150,000 positives. When you are focused on that 150,000 positives and not just the negatives, you can see the formation of the negative thought coming. And it becomes easy to jump into a conversation. You're at a social event, you jump into a conversation, you're standing, oh yeah, I'm Jeff, and you're going through, and then 10 seconds into the conversation, you're like, these people over here complaining. I'm gonna go get a drink. You can feel it. You walk in, you sit down, it's like, yeah, man, he is saying to me, I ain't gonna mess up. Okay, anybody want a drink? I go over. We go right. They don't see. I'm not going in there. And then if you keep practicing the right now and practicing making sure that you're checking yourself, what ends up happening is you develop a sixth sense. You can walk in a room, trust me, you can walk in a room and see the pockets and see the energy spaces in the room. You're like, oh, those kids are free. They like each other. Our kids over here with the Lindsay's girls talking during the time I'm trying to pray. Which I'm not going to say they're talking while I'm praying because that's not my job. My job is to pray. Right? And then my job is to reflect on when I was their age. And Kathy Carr and Hayward Carr and Kathy Carr was we were on the back row at Kane Avenue, out of sight. And we're giggling, laughing, hollering. And then from way in the back row, you see this little woman, mane of gray hair, and you're laughing, kee-kawing, everybody's all this, and something just, there's some heat coming from this direction. And you look up, and all of you could just look up at the same time, and you see my searing look from my mother all the way from the back row of the choir stand. And she's just standing there, they're singing. But it's not her turn yet, and she's just looking at the entire back row. Like a statue. We're like, do you think she saw? Is she looking at us? And then she does. And we're like, but that's part of learning protocol, right? And protocol is part of it because I'm like, I make sure I got to talk to my free spirit kids about protocol. But the beauty of it is they've met instant friends. Isn't it beautiful how children cannot come in and judge folks, but can test energy from the instant and connect with each other? Oh, give thanks. That's just that's how life works. So you reach a point where you can come into a space and you can feel what people's energy are, and and then you move into a lane where the like energy is attracted to like energy. Okay, I'm not going to reach the point of diminishing returns. We'll go too long, but I want to make sure, was there anybody online, Tony, that I need to, just good comments? Okay, good. Any more questions we have? Okay, I wanted to make sure we get that opportunity, that infinity. That third Sunday is evolving. It's very much a teaching moment. We're going to give that ancient wisdom for that modern living. Thank you, Tony. Give thanks. The tech worked. I'm like, yes. Thank you very much. As you know, spirit is moving in there. Thanks, Tone. We can move it on back. So to those online sharing with us, we appreciate you being there with us. To those in the space, we appreciate you having the energy today in this alignment space for love. And Mama, you want to give us a nice little perm if you tap into that? Because I know, I love the way you send this at the universe. It's a beautiful space. So we're going to ask that all heads be bowed, all eyes be closed, hearts be open, wherever you are, as we seal this energy of teaching today.
Let's take a deep breath. We're so grateful for this moment. We're so grateful to be in this now present moment. Divine Source, we are thankful that you brought us here on this day to be able to grow, to be enlightened. We thank you that in every time that we're needing some type of fix or change in our lives, that something occurs, something is said, something is done to make us pivot in the way that we need to pivot. I speak a special blessing over everyone that is here today. I speak a blessing over all of the live streamers that are listening right now. I speak that we will advance in our lives, that we will begin to open our hearts and our spirit to the now and to the present and to all the good. We are thankful for the love that is always there. Even if we pinch ourselves off from it every now and then, but it is always there. We're thankful for that presence in the spirit realm that is always guiding and right there to lead us to the place that we need to go, to the opportunities that we need to see. And I just speak that our eyes and our ears and our mouths will be open to receive the good, that we will begin to stay connected to the things that are keeping us aligned with the good. Everything is good. All is well in our lives. And we are proclaiming that right now. We will proclaim it this entire week, even when things don't look like they're supposed to work out. Even when an obstacle tries to come about and tries to stop us from being on the course that we think that we should have. We are thankful that you are always there for us. We are thankful that you are covering us. We are thankful that you surround us with protection. And I speak a blessing over all of our children. I speak a blessing over all of our homes and our families during this holiday season. While we are on the road, when we are in our house, that there is a special protection that is covering us from this point on. I speak healing over our entire bodies right now, from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. I speak healing over our finances, that we will begin to open up and we will see that abundance and prosperity that we want to have in our lives. I speak that the right relationships, the right connections, the right doors, the right opportunities are coming at our feet. I speak that everyone's blinders that is keeping them from seeing what is supposed to happen in their life is being opened and removed right now. I speak that we will forever be in this present moment of love vibration that moves, that is so powerful that it can bring things into existence from just one thought, from just one word, and it is brought to existence like that. We are thankful for that power. We are thankful for that connection. We are thankful for this place called Infinity. We are thankful for Rev Jeff with all of the knowledge that he has, that he pours into us every single Sunday. We are thankful for the tech crew. We are thankful for Miss Angie. We are thankful for Cousin Trees. We are thankful for all of those who make things happen. And as we are going about this day, that we will forever be connected to the truth that resides in each and every one of us, and not be moved by insignificant things. We're thankful. Amen and Ashe.
Amen and Ashe. Woo. Oh, pray servant. That's what they used to say. Pray servant. All right, let us rise to our feet with this love energy in the space today. As we begin to sing our song on out of here, we remind you all that we are grateful in the space. So glad to see the faces here today. I'm so glad to hear we are actually all the voices. And so as we go, we sway. Yeah, there we go. As we leave this space in a prayer for a world that awaits our light, we sing by putting our voices together in intention, being mindful of what's coming in through our space and what is coming out. No matter what you encounter this week, no matter what you encounter today, you can go into a space recognizing that you have the gift and the power of pronouncement, to pronounce and to proclaim in this world that all is well and that we're thriving, that we're changing, that we're evolving, that we are being the healing that we have been seeking. It's right here. I love it. Let's sing together. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. Oh, y'all sound good. Come on, let's lift that up. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. And God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. And God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. We speak that the love and power of God the Creator, the power of the cosmos and the ancestors rest, rule, rock, and abide with us henceforth as we move forward in the power of proclamation. We sing together. Amen, Amen, Hotel Shalom, Namaste, Hashem. We love y'all. See y'all next week, Yoga Sunday. Let's keep this rocking. Just a few more weeks, y'all, to the end of 22, the year of attainment. We love you. That's a fact you cannot change.